You ever had a total stranger show up at your doorstep waving a stack of official-looking papers and scream like you were the criminal for standing on your own family's land? "Yeah, get off county property or I'm calling 911, she shrieked at me, heels stabbing the gravel phone in hand like it was a loaded weapon. For a second, I honestly thought maybe I was losing my mind. This was my home, my grandfather's homestead. Every memory in these woods in this old cabin belonged to us. And yet here was this woman acting like I was trespassing on her turf. If you'd have seen her face, you'd think she was about to have me dragged off in handcuffs. It's wild how quick your sanctuary can feel like enemy territory sirens echoing through the valley before you even get a chance to breathe. I'm telling you, if you've ever been in a moment like that, comment below. Let me know, would you stand your ground or just walk away? See, that Saturday started out peaceful enough. I was walking the old trails, checking Grandpa's wildlife cameras. He called them his digital sentinels. He always said, "This land remembers." Even years after he passed, those cameras have been out here recording deer paths, bird migrations, the slow changing of the seasons, a living diary of everything that's come and gone. The air was crisp with mountain pine wildflowers drifting on the breeze. You know those mornings where you can almost feel someone watching over you. That's how it was until I heard the sharp, expensive click of high heels on the gravel. She came marching up, blonde hair, perfectly set business suit, probably worth more than my truck arm full of resort company paperwork and HOA violation notices. She moved with the confidence of a shark circling in clear water. Before I could even get a word out, she's rattling off some rehearsed speech about community progress and economic opportunity like she'd memorized every word in front of the mirror. "This location will become a premium resort," she announced like she was doing me a favor. "Your family needs to accept our generous offer and relocate immediately." I just stared at her, blinking. Was I supposed to pack up 100 years of family history and walk out all so she could build another luxury spa for tourists? She told me her name was Evelyn Cross, and every word out of her mouth dripped with entitlement. Her blue eyes were ice scanning the property like she already owned it. She shoved a stack of glossy memos in my face. Architectural plans, budgets, signatures like paperwork could bulldoze a legacy. But my grandfather George, he'd warned me about people like this. "They think money erases history," he'd said back when we were fighting the last wave of developers. But George had made sure this homestead had state-level preservation protection, county ordinances, and even HOA exceptions locked in. Every document was triple-filed, every signature sealed. This wasn't just a home, it was a legally protected site. I tried to tell her that. I tried to explain this land wasn't for sale, couldn't be touched. But she just smirked, waving some pre-approval from a county contact on the HOA board, reaching for my folder like she was entitled to whatever she wanted. That sent a chill through me because either she really believed her connections could override the law, or she thought intimidation would scare me off. I could see it in her face. She'd never had someone say no and mean it. And then things went from surreal to straight up dangerous. She tried to force her way into the cabin, claiming she needed to document illegal occupation of county property. I stood there blocking the door with my body, and it hit me. This woman honestly believed she could erase generations of family legacy with a single phone call. So she did it. She called 911 right there in front of me, her voice shrill enough to scatter wildlife for miles. "Officer, there's a woman illegally occupying county land, harassing me, refusing to leave. She was performing, and I mean performing like a bad actor on a daytime soap." When the patrol car rolled up, lights flashing but no siren, I knew things were about to get real. The officer, Liam Porter, stepped out, all crisp uniform and wary eyes. Evelyn turned on the waterworks. "She's harassing me. She's violating community standards." I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Suddenly, I was the one on trial, asked to step aside, show my paperwork, defend my very right to stand on my own land. Let me back up a sec. My grandfather was meticulous. He kept every document in perfect order, color-coded, sealed in plastic sleeves. I handed over the file and watched as Porter started flipping through, his suspicion shifting to confusion, then something like respect. The dispatcher confirmed it all. Brooks Homestead Protected Cultural Site on record since 2005. Evelyn's face drained of color faster than a summer hailstorm. She started stammering about outdated records, but the facts were undeniable. Porter shut her down gently but firmly. Anyone could check these records online. "Ma'am, you cannot enter private property without owner permission or a legal warrant," he told her, standing between her and the cabin. That should have been the end. But Evelyn just doubled down, her threats getting nastier, her desperation more obvious. Porter warned her filing false 911 reports is a crime, and any more visits would be treated as harassment. I could see in her eyes she wasn't done. She whispered, "This isn't over," just loud enough for me to hear. Sure enough, it wasn't. By Tuesday, the entire neighborhood was covered in slick flyers, full-color propaganda claiming the historic structure blocked jobs and growth, as if my grandfather's homestead was some kind of blight. The fear campaign worked. Neighbors started questioning whether our old building was worth sacrificing opportunity for their kids. Mrs. Patterson, usually all smiles, cornered me outside the post office. "You sure this matters more than jobs for our children?" she asked, holding that flyer like it was a lifeline. So I fought back the only way I knew how, with the truth. I put together a cultural education night at the HOA Center, lined the walls with photos, artifacts, George's letters, every piece of evidence I could muster. Beth Martinez, who everyone trusted, stood with me. "Cultural legacy belongs to everyone, not just whoever can buy it," she said. And for a minute it worked. People started asking real questions. What about the tourism money, the environmental benefits, the value in keeping something unique alive? But then the argument started. Tom Morrison shouting, "Jobs matter more than some old cabin." Sandra Kim firing back, "You can't bulldoze history for a quick paycheck." The room exploded. Beth started live streaming. It felt like the whole country was watching us tear each other apart. And then I spotted them. Outsiders, fake residents guiding the conversation, asking pointed questions about tax revenue and property values, turning us against each other on camera. Outside, a figure with a silver bracelet was filming the chaos, recording every shout and accusation for God knows who. By Thursday, I realized we weren't just fighting neighbors or a greedy developer. This was a coordinated campaign. I took Grandpa's drone. He'd made me get my FAA license for it, even though I used to roll my eyes. That morning, I flew it above the trees, and what I saw made my stomach drop. Evelyn and a group of investors were holding a secret planning meeting, blueprints and county documents spread out on a car hood. There was a county official, Martinez, in a government vehicle explaining how they'd challenged the preservation status on technicalities. The whole neighborhood, not just my family's land, was marked for takeover. And if that wasn't enough, Friday morning, Evelyn called 911 again, this time, claiming I destroyed her surveillance equipment. Officer Porter showed up now, taking things much more seriously. Property damage is a big deal. But get this, when he checked, the damaged cameras were just cheap plastic decoys complete with QR codes linking to theatrical prop shops. No real cameras, no real evidence. It was a setup, plain and simple. And standing nearby, acting nervous as a cat in a dog park, was Robert Cross, Evelyn's ex-husband, fidgeting with a manila envelope in his pocket. He looked ready to spill something big. Sunday, the county courthouse filled up for a public forum. On one side, Evelyn and her attorney, all slick presentations and charts about modernization and growth. On the other, me, Beth, a wall of old photographs, documents, and truth. And then Robert stood up, hands shaking, holding that envelope. "I can't keep quiet anymore," he said. He handed over records showing a $200,000, $1,000 payment Evelyn had taken to eliminate obstacles for the resort, our homestead, our neighbors, everything. The room erupted, shock, betrayal, people realizing they'd been played by a paid manipulator. Beth didn't miss a beat. She pulled up video evidence on her tablet, footage of Evelyn planting fake cameras, recordings of meetings where Evelyn openly admitted to knowing about the preservation status and filing false reports anyway. Everything out in the open, lies, payments, the whole ugly plot. Commissioner Walsh stood up, voice grave, and read the charges. Multiple counts of filing fraudulent emergency reports, harassment, professional ethics violations, fines, a restraining order, official complaints to the state real estate board. Evelyn's career was over. The development company cut ties, the $200,000 gone like smoke. Most important, our homestead got enhanced county protection. Bronze plaques went up, the cameras that caught their conspiracy were turned into wildlife monitoring stations for local schools. And for the first time in months, I breathed easy. The forest was quiet. Birds singing instead of construction noise, light glinting off the plaque with my grandfather's name. Sometimes you fight and win not with fists or money, but with truth, community, and a stubborn refusal to be erased. Family legacy doesn't guard itself. You've got to fight for it. Document records, stand together, and never back down no matter who shows up, waving papers in your face. Now, if you've stuck with me this far, tell me in the comments, what would you do? Stand your ground or walk away? Ever seen something like this in your neighborhood? Share your story, because the only way to keep what matters is to stand together and speak out every time someone comes to take it. And hey, if you want to support more stories like this, hit that thanks button, share your thoughts, and don't miss the next wild tale, because around here, justice isn't just a word, it's a fight.